There are still some people that will come after the wedding and tell you that they did not eat, whereas you budgeted and had surplus food. But some people will still come and tell you they didn't eat, they didn't drink. Hey my people, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm particularly excited today because we're talking about weddings. I mean, who else get excited when it's wedding season? I especially. I don't know about you. Wedding planning can be quite stressful and may take a toll on you physically, mentally, and financially, especially when you're not involving the services of an event planner. And that is why you need to begin to plan on time. Today's video is specifically for brides to be and grooms to be. So if your wedding is coming up, the best time to start planning is now. And if you're looking to plan your wedding and you don't know how to go about it, say no more, because you are on the right channel. Before we move on, I would like you to click on the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that you get notified anytime I put up a new video. On here, I make videos on health tips, events, vlogs, and videos like this. Now, speaking of planning on time, some couples begin to plan as early as 1 year to even 6 months or 2 years before their wedding. So the very first thing here on my list is to choose a date now. Choose a date now before every other planning aspect comes to play. In choosing a date, there are certain factors to consider, like the season of the year, a date special to you as a couple, the time of the year. Do you want your wedding to take place during holiday season when every family member will be around? Will you be granted leave if you have a 9-to-5 job, and so on? So by the time you must have agreed on a date, you have to let certain key persons in your life know, like your parents, the church, and the officiating minister, so that everyone will be in the know, and then keep that date in mind. Clear up their calendar so that no dates are clashing with any events or functions that they have. When everyone is in unison with the date, you can now begin to plan your wedding proper. Another factor to consider is where this wedding would take place. What location? Do you want to have the wedding in the city you both live in, or you want to have the wedding outside of your city or outside the country? Is it going to be a destination wedding? Where will this wedding take place? The third thing to consider is to envision how you want your big day to look like. Do you want to have an intimate wedding or a societal wedding? Do you want to have a very simple yet cute decoration or very over-the-top decoration? Would you like to be dressed in a very lovely ball gown or a mammy dress? Will you be having a themed wedding or not? A themed wedding is a wedding that is planned, styled, and decorated to communicate a specific theme. Examples of a themed wedding could be a rustic themed wedding, an under the sea wedding, a fairy tale wedding, and so on. After you must have envisioned how you want your big day to look like, the next factor to consider is your guest size. What number of people are you willing to accommodate or host on that day? This is something you have to critically consider with your partner and your parents. Ask everyone, ask each of them how many guests they are inviting. Tell them the number you're willing to accommodate, and then everyone can make adjustments, and then you arrive at a total number. At this point, I advise that you get a pen and a paper so that you can jot down. You know what they say about the pen? It is mightier than the sword. Wedding planning involves very high organizational skills, so you need to document every process. Now that the date, the theme, and the guest size have been sorted out, the next thing to consider is your budget. You need to have a budget in mind. How much are you and your partner able to afford and willing to spend on this wedding? Most times, couples are advised not to rely on what Mr. A or Mrs. B promised, except you already have the cash at hand. So plan with what you have. In Nigeria, most families support the couple, but it's very good to have a realistic budget. What do I mean by a realistic budget? A realistic budget is a budget that suits your dream wedding, your ideal wedding. If your budget cannot afford your wedding, then it's not a realistic budget, because you cannot want guest appearance, celebrity appearance, the likes of Wizkid and Tubaba on your wedding day, and your entire budget for both the celebrity appearance and the wedding is 1 million naira. Could it work? So stick to what you can afford. A way to set realistic budget is by watching out for discounts and sales, and also ask for referrals. Another way is to DIY some things, that is, do it yourself, in order to fit into your realistic budget. Now that the budget has been set, the next thing is to go ahead and secure a venue. The wedding venue is very important, and is actually the first thing you need to make a down payment for. It's the first thing you need to pay for before every other service. Why? Because wedding venues get fully booked ahead of time, because most couples begin to deposit ahead of time, as early as even 1 year, 6 months, or even 8 months to the wedding. So you need to go ahead and make a deposit for your venue first before every other thing. Now, there are certain factors to consider when settling for a venue. Is it going to be an indoor wedding or an outdoor wedding? Already you know your guest size. So is this hall going to accommodate my guest size, or is this open space going to accommodate my guest size? Am I making provisions for tent if it's an open space? And most importantly, this venue that I like, does it actually fit into my budget? If it's a hall, do they have very good working air conditioner? Is the restroom easily accessible to guests? Is the venue located in a strategic area where guests can easily access? These and so many other factors to consider when looking to get a wedding venue. So make sure to ask all the necessary questions, especially to the venue manager, and then when you are convinced, you can go ahead to make a deposit. Once this is out of the way, the next thing to do is to start looking for vendors. In looking for vendors, you need to look out for vendors that will bring your vision to life. Remember, your vendors can actually make or mar your wedding, so choose wisely. Vendors get fully booked as well, so you need to start making deposits when you're convinced that you want to work with this person. This is your dream team. Some vendors that get booked fully and on time are caterers, makeup artists, hairstylists, photographers, videographers. So when you're convinced, just make a deposit with them. Also, don't forget to document all those processes as you are doing them. When you pay for a venue, keep the receipts, document everything in your paper or in your Excel sheet. Now you're probably wondering, how am I even going to get vendors? How am I going to source for vendors? You can actually get vendors online and offline by asking for referrals, asking friends and families who have used the services of these vendors before. By going online, there are numerous wedding platforms on Instagram and on Pinterest. Go and search and you will see a lot of vendors. Get referrals from your family and friends, ask questions. And now this is the time for you to get out of your comfort zone and begin to attend weddings that you're being invited to. Remember, your goal is to get vendors who align with your vision, who resonate with how you envision your day to be. So while at the wedding, shine your eyes and look out for vendors that resonate with your vision and get their contact and keep in touch with them. You should consider contacting different vendors that offer the same service. What do I mean by this? Take for instance, you want a 5-tier cake. You should contact bakers, 3 to 5 different bakers who offer the same service, and then choose the one that aligns with you and also the one that fits your budget. So the next thing here is to have a wedding checklist. What is a wedding checklist? Simply, a wedding checklist is one that has all your to-do lists, your down payments, your deposits, your balance, things you're yet to pay for, items you're yet to purchase, reminders, and so on, so that nothing is left out. Remember to always refer to your notes. In fact, if you're familiar with the Excel sheets, fine and good, so perfect. Document everything there, and if possible, store them on your Google Drive or iCloud or your email so that nothing gets missing. Next thing here is to have a plan B for mishaps, just in case things don't go as planned. Let's say for instance your caterer gets hospitalized on the D-Day and cannot even get food across to the venue. What measures have you put in place to make sure that that food gets across to you? Or do you have a go-to restaurant that you can call immediately and food gets across? Or what if you have wardrobe malfunction on that day? What measures have you put in place to make sure that if such happens, you're able to fix it ASAP? Also, don't forget to keep tabs with all your vendors. Be in constant communication with your vendors so that nobody will tell you that they thought your wedding was last week, whereas your wedding is tomorrow. And then lastly, get a wedding coordinator to help you manage the affairs of the day. Someone that will make sure that everything goes on well and simultaneously on that day. Not when there are short of drinks, the person is coming to the stage to tell you that there's no drinks. Remember, you're supposed to enjoy your day. You don't even pay attention to anything on that. Like, enjoy your day, have fun. There are still some people that will come after the wedding and tell you that they did not eat, whereas you budgeted and had surplus food. But some people will still come and tell you they didn't eat, they didn't drink. So just take your mind off it. Get a wedding coordinator that will make everything seamless for you. You can use your family members as wedding coordinator, your parents, your mom, your siblings, or even a close friend, or better still, hire a wedding coordinator. So if you're looking to hire a wedding coordinator, I'm available at highspec_events on Instagram, and I'm also going to leave an email right now on the screen. We offer on the day coordination of wedding and wedding planning services and consultations as well at very affordable rates. So let's do a recap. The first thing is to start planning on time. Choose a date, have a vision in mind, know your guest size, draw up a budget, secure your wedding venue, book your vendors early, have a checklist, document everything, very important, have a plan B, get a wedding coordinator, and lastly, enjoy your day and have fun. We've come to the end of this video. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed this video. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you learned a thing or two. If you watched up until this point, thank you so much for sticking with me and watching. Do well to subscribe, like this video, share, comment, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.